Earth is the most difficult school out of all schools you can actually go to.
Your younger self, one thing in this moment, what would it be?
First one, it's gonna be wilder than your wildest dreams.
And now people would still, like 40-year-olds look at me like, dude, you're a baby.
Yeah.
Like you have so much time.
But it's also cool that we live so much longer right now.
Yeah.
Looking at my parents, like my dad was born in 58, mom's 65, so it's 40. My mom is...
When was your dad born? 58?
58, mom 65. Oh. So 65 to 2025, it's 40, 60, so 60 plus.
Yeah.
She's like so young and vibrant. Like if I remember grandparents growing up, it was always like, oh, they were older. My mom and my dad are just like in their prime. And my great grandma lived until 104.
Wow.
So my dad is saying that like, oh, I'm gonna live long enough to see my son's Ra's wedding.
Wow.
So he's just like so ready to have the purpose to stay young and alive.
Yeah.
And what we believe with Ryan is that when people retire and they don't have anything to give their attention and their energy, they'll lose the purpose. And when we lose the purpose of the daily thing that we are meant to give our energy and attention, we literally start just like getting so much older, so much faster.
Yeah.
And I believe with retirement, I actually don't want to retire because I don't want to have the chapter of my life of like, oh, this is where I work and this is where I don't do anything. I just want to continuously do with space what I love, what gives me purpose until the end of time.
So beautiful.
While keeping the body healthy, you know, and while like, you know, do the workouts and things that actually make you feel young and vibrant and strong so you can pick up your grandchild and child, you know, and just move around with ease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I talk about that all the time with the blue zones. A lot of it is just having purpose, having a sense of community, having a reason to be here.
Making a breath for your neighbor every morning. And that's what, you know, like the building where I live is all owned by this man. I think he's in his 90s.
Yeah.
Every single day, weekday, he shows up to the office. He cannot even take his stairs. Every single day he shows up at least for 1 hour because that's his purpose. And these are my tenants. And I'm just like, show up in the office that is in the building where we live. And then I leave and that's it.
That's so cute.
Keeps him alive, I think, you know? Like 90 plus.
Wow.
I'm telling you, he just literally like walks super slow that he needs to have assistance, but he's committed to showing up all the time. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Maybe always feel our purpose and have our purpose and go with it, huh?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. That I want to be podcasting till the end of time.
Yeah, that's good. There are stories to tell from all over the world.
And
It's
that
so
wisdom you have at that age too, the experience you've had. Also, I was just listening to a podcast, Modern Wisdom, and this guy was talking about how quickly, in terms of longevity, the science is changing. And there's some really exciting things happening in that space where it's like 150, 170, 180, those might be the new norms. And that could be in our lifetime, which is really crazy to think about.
It's interesting to look at like longevity and you know, when you send me questions and like these areas that what you would like to cover today, I was looking at like everything that I do, and I'm like, I'm so freaking woo and out there for so many people, because like sound, unseen worlds, right, and connecting with the energy, spirit babies, connect with the spirit of your unborn child, and QHHT, speak to your subconscious and connect with the oversoul, and the moon ceremony, like. It's freaking out there for so many people, and I love it. Yeah. And I own it because I just see the world through the lens of energy, and my big reflection was on the fact that there are many different archetypes that live inside of us. And some people have this archetype of activist, and they just want to bring the change by, you know, seeing what's happening and going for it. And some people have archetypes of researcher, and they just bring all the information. Some people have the archetypes of storytelling like this, right? And that's the strong one to bring through besides others. And I just have this archetype of seeker. And I just always love reflecting on life through this, like the higher point of view, and understanding why things are happening through energetic point of view. And so part of longevity, like the planet Earth is the planet Earth, according to information accessed through different sessions, planet Earth was actually designed essentially with the humans to live as long as they want. And when they are ready and they receive the lessons, they just put their physical body aside because it was perfect suit. and they just continue on the next lifetime when they decide. But then certain like meteor came, according to this information that was given, believe it or not, and it brought a certain viruses, and those viruses started then like working differently with the body. So humans were then figuring out, right, like what plants to use to help this physical body, and how to keep it, healthy and alive longer and longer and longer. So maybe that's where we're heading again, to understand how to work this amazing body, so that is a divine intelligence, to give it longer lifespan and a longer lifetime. Because back in the times, it could actually be normal that people lived so much longer than we know.
Wow, where is that information coming from? What is that?
So I got very much into work of Dolores Cannon and the QHHT, and we're going to speak about it later on.
I looked her up.
So Dolores Cannon was this amazing woman who in the 60s was doing a hypnosis, and through basic hypnosis, clinical hypnosis, it was literally about reprogramming, for example, the way you have a connection with your food if people are obese, or breaking the habit of smoking, just the clinical hypnosis things that they were accessing a certain first layers of subconscious. Then out of nowhere, in one session with one woman, she accessed past life.
Wow.
And she was mind blown. She didn't know what is happening, and she started exploring more and more and more. And so
during this session, the woman she was working on
access the past life, and she was speaking about a past life, and like things weren't adding up to what is actually happening in her current life. So she realized like, oh, we just accessed the past life. So Dolores, through her work, over literally more than 50 years of doing quantum healing hypnosis, the technique she developed based on hypnosis, taking you into the past life and then speaking to your subconscious. She called subconscious, which is more accessible for a wider range of people. But what subconscious actually meant in here is access to all the information out there. All
the information that your soul has experienced or has access to.
And all the information of everything out there in the cosmos. So because we are all connected and everything is connected, we are parts of source. We are expression of the source. And once you're able to get to the deeper and deeper and deeper layers of being, and our consciousness, you're able to access the universal information beyond just the information about your individual soul being on the journey. And so through this information, she was able to go to different planets and research ETs and UFOs, and did a research on the journey of the soul when one life ends, another life begins, what is actually happening in between, and how are we choosing the lessons that we are meant to go through in the current life. And so much more. She literally wrote, I think, like 10 to 12 books on all the information that she was receiving beyond the individual journeys of every single person. And so this is where it comes from, that there are the planets and the parts where people live until they decide to actually put away their physical body and move on to the next lifetime, because they know they received all the learnings they needed.
And it seems like with where technology is going and the current evolution at its rapid state, that's not impossible, right? I think a few hundred years ago, you might hear that and think that's not possible, but now it's like, that could be possible.
Absolutely.
If we reverse the aging process, do we get to a point where humans are here until they don't want to be here anymore? Or they know their mission here, at least in this life, is complete?
And there is a deeper layer to it, what you said, like their mission life is complete. I think where we're heading right now with meditation and people dipping their toes into meditation, and it's almost like this merging of the Eastern philosophies in the world and the Western world. We are more and more opening ourselves towards expansiveness of consciousness. More and more people start understanding that energy actually is, not just believe in energy, energy actually is, right? From the quantum physics and the quantum field and observation of the particles, how they change and shift. Like, we have so much information right now to open our mind and our heart and our soul and our being to understand that the cosmos and the universe is so vast, and we know just a tiny little bit. And even what we know, it's so tiny little bit, and what we don't know, it's endless, right?
Yeah.
And so that people have an interest to explore from like the biological suit and the physical way, which is super interesting. And then there are the people who are uncovering this interest to uncover through the inner pathways and through the layers of their own consciousness what is actually out there and what is possible and what is their purpose and what is their own path. And I think that there are two ways to see the physical experience on Earth. Because Dolores says basically that Earth is the most difficult school out of all schools you can actually go to.
I get that. That resonates with
Like
me.
the most difficult. It's because we completely choose to forget our connection to source.
Yeah.
We enter here with complete amnesia, right? That we're not going to remember anything because that's what makes it more interesting. And this is what Alan Watts is saying as well. You've been having this dream of dreaming everything you know and having these experiences of the life in the past. And now you are like, I experienced it all. Let me throw out there something more interesting and something more challenging. So the fact that
Let me go be a human.
Let me go be, this is literally what it is. Let me go be a human and let me completely forget how powerful I am and how much creative force and power I hold in me, and my ability to heal and my ability to create and my ability to actually be a creator. And let me see what it holds for me. And let me put these challenges on my way without knowing what's going to happen. Let's see how I'm going to react to it. Let's see what I'm going to take out of there.
Yeah, we're gonna circle back to that, but I feel like every time I take psychedelics, which is actually something I wanted to chat with you about because I know you have a lot of experience using them and guiding other people, that's what it feels like. It's like a remembering of like, oh yeah, Drew isn't who I am. That's an experience I'm having right now. And that's really the only time I will really feel that on a deep level.
It's a reminder.
It's a reminder. That's what it feels like.
It's a reminder. And the life, this is my philosophy and this is what I stand for deeply. Life is a journey of remembering and forgetting and remembering and forgetting. And so like that state of remembering is, and it doesn't need to, it is definitely access to psychedelics on very, very, very deep level. And it's also possible to access it through moment in nature and through deep meditation and through just like having this moment of groundiness and clarity of absolute peace. And like, oh, I know I'm here for a reason. I know I have a certain purpose. And I know I'm meant to walk this path. And I'm enjoying the presence and embracing the life and whatever it's bringing, right? So that's the moment of remembering. When we're in a flow, when we're doing something like you, like having conversations with the people, what makes you feel alive in the moment? What makes you feel being here and there is nothing else that exists? And you also know that this is leading towards something greater that contributes to greater of the humanity, of the people around you, that creates the ripples in the world. And the moment of just like having so much clarity and inner knowing that like, this is where I'm meant to be, this is what I'm meant to do, let's go. That's the moment of remembering.
Yes.
And then we forget. And it's almost like this mist and cloud comes over. And like, what am I even doing? And how am I supposed to go forward with this? And how am I supposed to make a living? And why am I with this person? And what was I thinking? And like the confusion happens, and that's the moment of forgetting, right? And the ultimate forgetting was in the beginning, forgetting our connection, forgetting to the source, forgetting all the experience from all the past lives that we have, so we can go on this one specific journey that is ahead of us.
Thinking we are separate. And that's the polarity, right? Remembering and forgetting, and everything in this experience is polarity on some level.
But it's almost like I have a son, right? 6 months old, Ra, and I see it in Ra so much. I see him play, or I see him going for something, and I know that he can stumble. And I know that there is a certain danger of him just like rolling over or doing something. And I'm watching him and I'm there for him, but I also let him, you know? And I see the source and us on this individual journey in the same way, you know? It's like, okay, go play and go explore right now. I had this experience And at the same time, nothing can happen to you.
You're gonna be
Nothing.
protected.
You are okay. You're protected. And a lot of people, this is a little controversial, but a lot of people don't want to speak about or contemplate on death and dying. But death and dying is such an absolutely natural part of life that it makes us live it even more. And through the work of exploring what happens after we die and before we are born, it completely changed my point of view on enjoying life in the moment. Because it's just homecoming. It's literally just like, we good. And one chapter ends, and maybe that's what we should think about, not death as something scary or bad, it's just something, and chapter gonna end, and this lifetime gonna end, meaning enjoy the most out of it. And I say that like life is like a great party. I told you this before, no? It's just like my motto and my remembering, like life is like a great party, and the DJ who's playing doesn't play not a single song twice. So every single song playing only once. And so many times you want to stop the time, but if you press pause, the music just stopped playing. And there's nothing to dance to. So we just gotta dance with it. We just gotta have fun, and we just gotta enjoy it. And even with my son, it's like I don't try to stop the time because, oh my God, he's growing too fast. I just say he's growing beautifully. And you know what? I'm just enjoying it, because if I stop time in here, then I'm not gonna see the next chapter of him walking and talking and, I don't know, exploring the world in totally different ways. So just like, how can we be present and dance with life and embrace this, knowing that we are always protected, and we are just meant to like throw ourselves out there and enjoy it all.
I love that. Yeah, being present and enjoying all the moments you can possibly enjoy here. And it's hard sometimes. And I think with the death thing, people are scared of it because they think it's over after that, and that's where a lot of that fear comes in. Like, oh, it's 100%. Done. There's nothing after this.
It's unknown. It's ultimate unknown. What is our ego mind scared of the most?
Not existing.
Not existing, and the unknown. Like the mind wants to control everything and grab. And this is the ultimate spiritual practice. How are we okay of letting go? How are we okay of not knowing? How are we okay leaping into the unknown and having a faith? You know, I grew up in a household where in Slovakia where we weren't into religion, and a lot of people are religious in there, but my household was just, we never went to church, we never spoke about a God. However, my parents were into angels and crystals, and they understood energy and the nature as a connection.
Spiritual to a degree?
In a sense, yeah, but they grew up in a communism, so there wasn't that much resources and call it spiritual, but we were understanding that there is energy, right? I never felt energy as a child the way they spoke about it. I did it, so I never questioned it. Like, of course it exists, but I also never got deeper into it, because I was like, oh, this is for those people who can feel it and see it, and then there's me, so I'm just gonna do my life in my own way, and I don't judge you, but I just don't feel it or see it, so I don't know, I don't do anything with it. And so I lived my life until I think 25 of just like doing my thing and exploring, and there was no deeper connection in a way of contemplating our life or having conversations with source, God, Goddess, divine. And I remember I was in Hawaii one day, and we were just doing this Road to Hana waterfall hike, and something happened in there. I don't know what was it. Something happened. And I got on my path and on my journey. It was 10 years ago. It was in 2015. And I started exploring Buddhism. I started exploring yoga, and started exploring mindfulness and what is this meditation thing. And then I got into yoga teacher training, and then I found my one person in a shavasana started playing sound bowl. I was like, what is this thing? The sound bowl. Wow, this feels so amazing. 2018. And it slowly guided me on this path of like, oh, there is more. And I had such a resistance towards saying word God, such a stigma, because my parents were not against the church, but they just saw this like, I guess they didn't believe in word prayer, word God. It just held a stigma that was very boxed, and they just believed in something greater and more expansive. And I was like, okay, source, God, Goddess. But I couldn't just say word God because it was very constricting for me.
Yes.
Because in the back of my head, it was like, oh, there is a personification of God known from Bible, and it's very boxed, you know? So yeah, it was very interesting on my journey to exploring that there is something greater, and we get to embrace it, and we get to work with it, and we get to feel into it. And where I'm heading with this life gets so much more vibrant when we acknowledge something greater.
Yes, absolutely. I experienced that myself, and it's funny because I feel like so many people start to find it at that age, right? Mid-20s, if it wasn't something that was a part of their life. As you come into yourself and you become an adult, at least for me, it was like, I can't believe something until I feel it, until I experience it. And going back to psychedelics, the first time I took LSD, that was my God moment of, oh my God, God is real. Like I was told.
Okay, so how did you feel? Tell me more.
I felt connected to everything in the universe. I felt connected to source. I felt connected to everyone and everything. I felt God, that feeling running through my veins, and I was experiencing it, and it was that aha moment of like, oh, this is what every religion has been talking about forever. This is God, this feeling, this knowing. But for me, it was like being told it exists, or I have to follow a certain religion to experience it. That never felt true to me.
Were your family religious, or did you grow up in a religious way?
We grew up Jewish, but it wasn't not very religious by any means. It was kind of more of a cultural, and we would do the holidays and all of that, but it never felt...
It was like rituals, but it didn't, yeah.
I never had a religious experience until that psychedelic experience. That was my religious experience.
How old you were?
I was like 23,
Amazing.
24.
What a gift.
Yeah, it was such a gift. And then it all made sense to me. I was like, God is real. And it wasn't like I was like, I don't believe in God. It was just, I didn't really have that relationship until that moment. And I saw, as I started to develop a deeper relationship with God, my life started to change. My life started to get better. I felt better. I had more faith. Certain synchronicities were happening. And then you get down the rabbit hole of, is that coincidence, or is there something that we don't understand yet?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at so many successful people, you see this with sports players all the time. Some of the top athletes in the world, after the game, who are they giving their grace to, right? Whoever their God is, whether it's Jesus or it's whatever the religion is, they're always saying the grace to God. This isn't possible without God. I couldn't have done this without God.
That's it. How did your rituals work of like connecting deeper? After you had this pinnacle experience that opened a brand new door for you, what on a little level changed for you that you were connecting to that vibrancy of something unseen more and more and more?
I think it was a slow process, but the first thing was the awareness of like, this is real. I believe in this now. So starting to meditate more, starting to even have conversations with God, asking for things, talking to God, praying. And yeah, I think in time, like any practice, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get doing it.
Yes. And you see the results as well. Like, it's happening.
Something's happening. And then it could be, maybe it's coincidence, but again, I don't really care at that point. I don't believe
I take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I don't personally believe in coincidence, but even if it is, it's like the placebo effect, right?
Yeah.
They've proven time and time again that placebo is real.
We're constantly creating.
Yeah.
It's like you heard this, that when you go on Instagram and you start to look up something, the algorithm starts showing you more and more and more.
Yeah.
Your mind and God is the ultimate algorithm.
Yeah.
Like whatever you give your attention, whatever you're looking up, wherever you spend time, whatever you're reading, going to show up in your surroundings more and more and more. So if you choose to see and acknowledge that there is something greater guiding, you're going to see it more and more and more. If you focus on like, it's not there and I'm a victim and it's not happening, guess what? You're going to find every single evidence that is your truth and it's supporting you, unless you're able to shift your perception and perspective differently.
And you're going to manifest that reality.
100%.
You're going to manifest that reality.
How powerful we are.
We are very powerful.
What a design.
Hear that, guys? You are powerful.
What a design.
So let's go back to, so that was your start of your journey in 2015 to kind of feel and understand energy. How has that changed? How has that evolved? Over the past few years?
Completely. I think it deepened completely. As I said, I was a seeker and I was questioning. And if you know human design, us projectors are just like always thinking deeply about a thing. So this is our coffee conversation on Tuesday morning, basically. All of this is me and Ryan on balcony every morning. So I was diving in, and I think for me the pivotal moments where psilocybin journey, where what my mom and my dad would talk about, like the energy and things, I actually saw it and I felt it. And I was like, wow, okay.
It is interesting that so many people, it starts with psychedelics. That makes me...
It opens the door. It's beautiful.
It opens the door. And I get it. Is there a reason for that, right? Is that...
Well, everything comes to the surface of consciousness of the people and you in a perfect timing when we are meant to uncover it. It's like, it's the synchronicity on the path. Like, you always have a free will. Do you want to know more? Okay, let's find out more. And then what do you do with that information? Because this is an important part as well. It's easy to just want, I want more and more and more and more and more. What do you do with the information you receive right now? Right?
That's the integration process, right?
So this is what I stand for so deeply.
Why you see so many people who maybe do a lot of psychedelics, but if they're not integrating the experience, they are the same person.
This is the thing, what ended up happening with all the beautiful journeys we have ability to do. First of all, psychedelics take away the veil so you can see more. And you see and understanding more energy, but it's also clear reflection of your inner world. Yeah. So imagine you take away the veil of your inner world, and you completely see the works of your mind and your energy, and then something deeper beyond it that is our source. Then people, if they don't integrate it and if they don't implement it into their everyday life, then they live two lives. One life is, I'm exploring this, and this is, wow, the vastness of the universe and everything that's possible. And then I go to work and I do things exactly the same way as I did, and I hang out with exactly the same people, and I complain about exactly the same things, and wow, this is here. And then again, another day is here and I'm on the autopilot. Or you have opportunity to blend and merge those two worlds. And then your everyday life becomes more vibrant, and you make different choices, and you continue understanding the wonder of life in the most mundane, regular, simple moments of drinking water and seeing water as something so magnificent, right? Or like going into the ocean during the weekend. I like to put this example as like the metaphor. You can put person in front of the ocean and be like, yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, it's water. Or you can put person in front of the ocean and like, can we actually comprehend how freaking majestic and amazing this is? This is a body of water that we are, that when we enter, we feel different.
Heals us.
It heals us. It cleanses us. You know, as you wash yourself physically, it actually cleanses your energy.
Yeah.
It allows you to take away the smog of the information we are constantly surrounded by and actually feel much more clear. Like, that's a miracle and wonder. Coming back to having a child, like seeing everything for the very first time. Like, do you remember a moment when you first time saw the ocean? I mean, you grew up in New York, but do you remember the moment you first time saw the ocean?
I grew up in Long Island, which is an island that's surrounded by water. Yeah. So yeah, my childhood did have ocean and water time for sure. Do I remember the first time I saw I don't think I do.
Because I was like 7 and I went on vacation to Croatia from Slovakia.
Okay, so you were older. I probably saw it at one
yeah,
few
so it was
old,
like it was there.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is this thing? Yeah. Like, wow, it has no end. Amazement. It has no end, right? And there are this spiritual, quotes that like, we are the ocean and we are the drop that becomes part of the ocean. So like the example of magnificence of source, God, Goddess, divine are literally all around us. You look at the nature, how is sun rising and then setting, and how are the colors so perfect, and how is everything going on its own so divinely.
Go climb a mountain, go take a hike.
Go on the Akatananga volcano and just like feel into the, it's all around us.
Yeah.
And it's our perception. How do we see it? So psilocybin opened the door, and then I had absolutely life-changing moments with 5-MeO-DMT, and specifically from the toad, not the synthetic one, but the one that actually holds soul and the spirit of the God molecule.
Yeah,
and
which I still want to do with you at some point.
Yeah. With Ryan,
yes.
Who's supportive.
Oh yeah.
And it's not even psychedelic. They don't even call it psychedelic. It's something that brings complete dissolution of the ego and oneness with God if you are ready for it.
Yeah.
Because there are different stages where we get. So I cannot tell you how your experience is going to be, but there is a potential of that. And it's pure light and love energy. I actually had a journey even while I was pregnant. That's how safe it is, because it's just your body recognizing there are no risks. Not big journey, microdosed, but I did have a journey with it. And that's how I spoke with Ra. Besides the regular meditations, I actually had a conversations with my son through this. And at one point, it made me completely merge with God and understand devotion to Source, understand what oneness actually is. And in that moment, I actually just repeated devotion to God, devotion to God, devotion to Source. Goes beyond anything. It goes beyond any love in my life, beyond any human, beyond love towards my partner, beyond love towards my child, because that's the ultimate connection.
Yeah.
And
that's the forever connection.
That's the forever, that's the Source itself. And so when we try to receive love from our partner or from our child, we almost put a pressure on them to act in a certain way and to be there for us and so on. And it's beautiful when we are there, obviously, for each other. Like, I'm so grateful for my relationship. But the love that we get to feel in a connection to Source, no one else can replicate it and substitute it. It's just there, it's inside. And that's ultimate love towards ourselves then as well. Like, how can we bring the self-love, becoming our own greatest friend, becoming our own greatest lover, and that's how we can show up then out there in the world in any relationship without expecting something from other people, but actually find much more harmonious relationships overall.
Yeah, it's so true. That's why so many religions and spiritual practices talk about you really can't love someone else unless you truly love yourself.
That's it.
That's where it comes from.
What a lifelong journey as well, huh?
I know, it's always a work, and that's, I think, part of the human experience. The work never stops, right? We feel like, or there's this ideology that you're going to get to a certain point where it's, oh, I love myself, it's done. It's like, no, that's
check.
Yeah, I did it. All right, what's the next thing? What's the next level? It's always work.
Ongoing.
Always work.
You know,
like treating the physical vessel right and having a connection to Source. Those are things that you have to work on every day.
The most basic one, how do we talk to ourselves?
Yeah.
How do we talk to ourselves when we look at ourselves? How do we talk to ourselves when we see ourselves in the mirror? How do we talk to ourselves when something goes wrong? How do we talk to ourselves when we try something brand new for the very first time? You know, there is this beautiful work by Carl Jung on archetypes. And this was part of my self-love journey and work through the work of Carl Jung. And you identify different archetypes inside of you, like little personas, little actors and actresses. And you identify how they talk to you, what is their voice, what is their superpower, what is their wound, and what do they need.
Is this similar to like parts work, where it's all the different parts of you?
Maybe. I haven't heard about a parts work, but maybe. There's a lot of similar concepts.
Yeah.
And so you basically get to uncover, you know, we spoke about before we started about self-love and starting brand new things and self-worth. And I think that one of my lifelong assignments to figure out in this specific lifetime, I think my soul was like, okay, you're gonna figure out this one, and it's see your value. And especially me as a projector, I'm able to see value of other people really deeply. And I love sharing how I see their value so they can see it, so I can be their mirror. But it's really hard for me sometimes to see my own. So it creates this like even greater gap. Like, oh, I see them, what they do, and I'm actually not able to fully see myself. So this has been my lifelong journey, and it's like a spiral. Like, okay, I saw it from here. And like, okay, I got so much better, and now I see it again and again and again. And there's always new point of view. Yeah. So every single time I starting something new, when I started with sound back in 2019, gosh, I really believed in it, and I was really passionate, and I had a deep connection. And there was this little archetype persona inside of me. It wasn't the center one, but it was this little voice. Why would someone choose you if there are so many people who do this? Who do you think you are that you can just like come up with this, but just starting and actually be successful?
I think we all have that little voice. Are you good enough?
Oh my God.
Are you enough?
These gremlins, right? Inside of us. So like to be able to work with it, okay, I hear you, I see you there, but you're not making decisions in here. Yeah. And coming back to that center archetype, we like to call it inner queen and inner king. Yeah. Like what is the virtue and value and how the inner queen and inner king show up. And there are so many different ones along the way. Yeah. And we constantly got to come back to why we do what we do. What is the passion behind it? Honoring our inner calling and our path, knowing that there's going to be so many more people who've done what we've done. There are so many people who've done a podcast before. Yeah. And I freaking love seeing you doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love doing that.
Because you have these cool glasses and you're just coming with your, great question and great energy. And it holds something so specific that no one else can replicate in the way we replicate it.
Yes. And I think, as we talked about before the podcast too, there's always this game you're navigating, right? There's always going to be people further ahead. And there's always going to be people behind you. I mean, I compare myself all the time to people who are at the highest level, and then I remember, hey, they've been doing this for 8 years, or they've filmed 1,000 episodes, right? And then I had people come up to me who are like, dude, I love the show. I'm so inspired by you. I want to start a podcast, or I just started it and I haven't really had traction. So there's always this game that we're playing, and I think you don't want to get too caught up in the game. You want to focus on what you're doing. How can I get better every day? How could I get 1% better and continue to do it? Consistency.
Do you find it interesting with the podcast, and when you look at your very first episodes and now you see how much you grow?
So much. And I've only, I've shot, this is episode 13.
It's freaking amazing.
Thank you. But I mean, 13 episodes to think about it.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but also like not that much compared to someone who's shot 1,000 episodes, right? It's the relativity. And
to honor, like sometimes what used to happen to me in the past, I would be like, I met some person and they had a session with me in the beginning of my journey.
Yeah.
And then I met them years later and I'm like, oh my God, they remember me of who I was then. And I'm like somewhere totally different, but they still have that like this old version of me that they think. And how can we honor that as well? Like to be totally okay that we always cross the paths with the people we are meant to connect in that stage.
Yeah.
You can mess with energy, and your energy always going to attract the people in these conjunctions you are meant to collaborate or work with or be around, and it's a continuous evolution. So also like honoring like, I was dead, and now I know so much more, and how cool is it that it just keep on going, and we're not the same person we were before.
That's something about creating content. There's so much beauty in that, and I'm sure this translates to a lot of different things. But I look at 4 years ago when I was creating content, it's like, you're like a little cringy.
But isn't it beautiful that you're completely different? I mean, it would really be a little sad if we were exactly the same.
Well, if you're not cringing a little bit, or maybe that's a whole different topic on how to look at that, but like then you wouldn't have that growth, right? There wouldn't be that evolution. You should be getting way better.
Exactly. You should be cringing a little like, I feel you. Okay, I like this point of view. Yes.
So going back to energy, I know people have a little resistance in believing about past lives and whether that's real or not. When was that transition for you where you started to open up that
my
door?
own past life regression. I was like so curious.
Tell us more.
So it was 2020. I just heard about someone having a past life regression. I never questioned if past life is or isn't real. Like I was like, okay, it's interesting, you know. I try to always keep this like open-minded state of being, that I always ask myself, does it resonate with me or not? But I never say that like, oh, this is not true or it's true. It's just another little point of view that person has.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, there's this woman who does. I was like, okay, I want to try this. What is this? Let me find out more. So it was 2020 and I had a past life regression and I explored 2 past lives in a regression.
You personally?
Yeah, I was hypnotized to go into the past lives. You know, the past life that comes through and forward in this session is always the most relevant for that part of your life or that stage where you at or lifetime in general. And in the first past life, I was this explorer. I was men in both of them. I was the explorer. My name was John, and I was sailing from Portugal on this like wooden ship with very small crew to go explore unseen lands.
Wow.
And I was leaving my girlfriend behind on the shore. And I was like, I gotta go for this. And I remember standing at the top of the ship and just like feeling this like adventurous spirit of like unseen lands are waiting and I'm going for it. And then I landed on some islands. I don't know if it was like Tenerife or some islands in the Atlantic. And we were just like going around and seeing, and then they take you towards the last day of your life. And I actually jump off the waterfall and I drown down in the water. So that was my death. I was basically drowning in the pool under the waterfall.
Holy shit.
And then it takes you to like understand like, okay, what is the message of this past life? Why it came through? And the message was that even if it means leaving my family behind, which I left my whole family behind. And as a 21-year-old, I moved to Miami and left completely everything behind. Even if it means leaving your loved ones behind, you got to follow your heart and that adventurous spirit that I just love, right? To exploring the world and going on a different trips, inward and outward, travel guide. It's just that adventurous spirit, and the calling of the heart needs to be followed. And that was repetitive for my soul journey, to just like follow the heart and find the adventures in every lifetime I'm beginning to embrace. And I actually have like this little fear of closed spaces underwater. Because in that life I couldn't like push myself up and go up to the surface because something got stuck. So even when we were in Mexico in cenotes, like to be underwater, and sometimes you need to enter those like very specific caves by going under, and you cannot go up, you just need to swim through. Oh my God, I was like facing my fear like on the next level. So that was the first one. And second one, I was this like part of the tribe in Peru back in time. I was this like the village healer, I would say, and I would just like help people.
Can totally see
energetically, right? I was a man as well. And it took me back to one part of the past, it took me back to being a little child, and I was learning to walk in this life. And I could feel Mother Earth supporting every single step I took, and being so joyful to just like see a little children of the earth just like walking and exploring. And then when I went to the end of the life, like what was the learning lesson? Embracing the Mother Nature and like the gifts that nature gives us, and the energy it holds, and the healing it provides us. So I was bringing that to the village, and it was something that I get to bring right now to the people as well, as far as the energy goes. So that was like, it's real, like I felt it. And it wasn't like someone else is channeling something for you. It's you accessing the information for yourself. And it was just inner knowing. Like she would ask a question and I would right away answer, like, what's your name? This, and that. So it just comes as the information stored in your DNA and in yourself, in your body.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've always been so fascinated by hypnosis because I've had this little bit of resistance. Like,
okay, tell me more.
I'm like, is it real? Like maybe it's just all bullshit. I don't know. Even with past lives, I do believe in. And I think a book that changed things for me was Past Lives, Many Masters. Have you ever read that?
Many Lives, Many Masters by
Many
Brian
Lives,
Weiss.
Many Masters,
He was actually based in Miami. He has his
really?
clinic here in Miami. He lives in Miami still.
No way.
But he doesn't practice anymore, yeah.
Wow, that book's fascinating.
So good.
But there's always just been this resistance. I'm like, is hypnosis like possible? And I feel...
So what do you think hypnosis actually is? That's my question.
I don't know. I guess my first read would be that it's taking you to a state that's accessible, where you're kind of here but not really here, and in that state you have access to information, and only in that state. But it just is that...
No, that's perfect. I mean, like
perfect,
it's great. But what do you... So you said it beautifully. You get into the state where you are in between. We like to call it the state between, when you just wake up in the morning, but you're not fully, that second or 2 seconds, we're like, oh, where am I? What's happening? Or when you fall in asleep and you're in between.
Or the dream's ending. You're
That's
like,
it.
the dream's ending and you're starting to come online, but you're still in the dream, but you're not fully in it.
So there is this in-between state. That's the theta brain state that is, because delta is full on sleeping, and the theta brain state, it's very suggestive. It's very in between. Like you are quieting down the conscious mind so you can listen a little deeper and access a little more information. So we are hypnotized every single day.
Yeah.
When you're waking up and when you go to sleep.
Think about dreams.
And you're dreaming.
Yeah.
We are hypnotized. You know how when you go on Instagram and they flash captions at you.
Yep.
And you have to look at it.
I've never been on Instagram. What's it like?
I don't know. So that's the form of hypnosis. You literally just have like the whole world disappears and there is just this moment.
Wow.
When we're driving, we're hypnotized when we're driving. When we are just like wandering in our thoughts, and we're hypnotized all the time. It's just the Hollywood movies think that hypnosis is that like I snap the finger and you will be a chicken.
That's probably what,
I know.
That's why I have the resistance. And you know why else, as we discussed earlier, I need to experience things firsthand. It's just how I am.
Very good. I mean, that brings you sovereign decisions to make, which is beautiful.
I will never believe in something unless I experience it. That's why I didn't believe in God until I experienced God. And then I'll never not believe in God again because I experienced it. It was
good.
real.
It's good to go through. I personally go with like, I'm open-minded and I question things and I'm absolutely embracing it as my reality once I experience it. Yes. But for me, like you see, like you don't believe until you experience, I'm like, I'm open-minded, show me. Let's see, let's play. Because if person would come to me, and this is what Dolores teaches as well, if person come to me, she says everyone can be hypnotized because we're literally hypnotized all the time. Mm-hmm. However, if person comes and says, I cannot be hypnotized, the power of your mind and the boundaries you create for yourself are so powerful. It's powerful more than anything.
It's like the placebo, right? They don't believe it's real or possible or it can happen, so how can it happen?
That's it. And that's a part of this like divine design that people get the lessons from that, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe in this lifetime they want it to be completely disconnected. How does that feel to be completely disconnected from something greater? Let me go on that journey, you know, and that lifetime. And it's okay. It's all perfect.
I actually researched a little bit and I wanted to share this. So this is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Induces the deepest hypnotic state possible to access the higher self. Surfaces past life memories. Can produce reported physical and emotional healings. Not medically verified. You know they had to throw that in. But the trance state itself is real.
Yes. So a lot of people, when they see Dolores' face, they might be like, oh, I saw this woman. Like, oh, maybe you saw it on YouTube or so on. She's teaching on a lot of different things. And I personally got into QHHT because I wanted to learn more about past lives and hypnosis. So that was my first step. I read Many Lives, Many Masters. I got my own hypnosis. I read book Soul Journey by Michael, I forgot his last name. His name was Michael. Yeah. And he specifically in hypnosis focuses on what happens after you die and before you're born. And I was so fascinated by this. Literally these like levels of the soul, how they, you know, welcome you back. How do you review your life? How do you literally design what you want to experience next? How the guides help you to experience this? And so I was like, I want to dive into that. Like, this is like completely fascinating to me. And I was doing research and like who I want to learn hypnosis with. And as I was doing my research, Dolores was coming a lot. And I was like, okay, let me look into her technique. And her technique was actually past life and getting into accessing your soul and oversoul information and bringing actual healing to the body. I was looking at Michael's training and I was like, this woman Dolores is here. What is she about? I knew her from like her lectures on so many different, all these spiritual things, but I found out that she actually teaches QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique. And she focuses on past life, but it's not just about, oh, it's fun to explore past life. She actually helps you find a root cause of the issues that you're going through in life. She can help by this technique, or practitioners can help by this technique, invite healing into the body. It can answer your questions from what is my purpose? How am I supposed to make this decision? Where am I supposed to direct my energy? What are my gifts? Why are things happening? What are the, like anything, imagine spiritual Google. And you can type anything and you can get answers to anything if it is appropriate, because some things we are not meant to know because it would affect our future decisions. So, I mean, it's quite overwhelming if I tell someone like, you can ask anything. What do you want to know, right?
It's very overwhelming.
And at the same time, I build up the whole website to give people guidance of like what it works through, what is possible and so on. And at the same time, it is not a psychedelic journey, right? So many people, when they hear about a hypnosis and trance state, altered state of being, because so many people had altered consciousness experiences, they expect that like, oh, I'm going to be somewhere out there in the ether. Like, no, you're completely there. Like you're conscious throughout the whole session. You know, when you're in a deep meditation and the conscious chatter of the mind quiets down.
Yes.
So we are able to open the window through the right questions to access the information that is already inside of you. And as we spoke about the God source, you are connected to that field. So once we are in that state deep enough and we allow the conscious mind chatter to quiet down, we are able to access any information. But because this session is specifically designed with safety locks, so you don't bring identities from the past into present and things mix up, that you are protected with a light. So, you know, some people are, what if there are other entities or something happened to me? Like, you are protected and you are guided through this session. And we get to ask anything and access any information. I've been hypnotizing Ryan a lot and other people a lot. Specifically, like Ryan, my partner, is an amazing subject because he has meditation practice, so it's easier for him to drop in. So when people have their own meditation practice, it's much more easy to quiet, you know, the chatter of the mind. With his permission, I've been also asking questions about myself and my path. Wow. Because you can ask about anything. You can ask about your loved ones.
Whether you guys have danced in other lives, if there's any.
I mean, that's one of them. But I was asking about, okay, how am I supposed to share QHHT? What are my next steps? How am I supposed to best way do this technique? Like, I was literally like doing study on myself through him to get the answers of how am I supposed to bring it to life. And it brought me so much clarity and so much confirmation of what I intuitively knew already.
And why would I guess in that state, he'd have that knowledge because he's getting to this place where there is all that information? It's not just the past life side of things?
Exactly. You tap into the Akasha. So you tap into the collective information that is about everything.
And just for someone who's listening, that's the Akashic records, right?
The Akashic records. Yeah. So it's almost like a universal library of everything.
Which is probably the coolest concept I've ever heard.
Like how amazing is that?
The bank of existence.
You know,
of eternal information.
I mean, talk about woo-woo and amazing at the same time. How cool is it that we have techniques and ways? I mean, you can do it in your meditation if you set intention on it.
Yeah.
And if you drop deep enough. We can get answers to anything. And we also have a techniques and a guidance that, you know, I always say, like, I'm not people's healer. I'm just a guide on the outside. And the healer, the information, everything you're looking for is inside of you.
Yeah.
And I have this beautiful ability through different practices to guide you to the spaces where you answer yourself.
Yep.
So just to give you an example, I had a girl I was hypnotizing who felt a pain in her breast on the left side, and the lump was showing up in there. And she was really scared, like what it can be, like the undercurrent, like is it cancer?
Yeah.
What's happening? In a past life regression, we found out that she was a cowboy, and the arrow shot right through that space, and that's how she died.
Holy shit.
And when we invite subconscious to speak through and find out more, it literally told her that she has a silicone stuck in that area, and it started helping her flush out the silicone from the lymph nodes because that's why it was swelling so much. And it brought a healing light into that part of the body. And when the subconscious speaks, many times it speaks subconscious over soul, higher self. It speaks in third person about you. So for example, Drew is this and that. And so it started flushing it out.
Yeah.
She had her scan yesterday and there is literally nothing. Everything is gone.
And she had it. It was there.
So she had a pain and she was...
And they found silicon, or they found some sort of...
Well, the silicon, it was there. They knew that something is in there. But right now she had a scan and it's all gone and it's all clear.
So it's healed. I guess my question would be, why do you think that's being brought into this next life? Like, what is the purpose there?
Interesting.
Like, she had this traumatic death, right? Where in a past life. Why is that surfacing back to this life? Does she need to heal that? Does she need to remember that? Is there...
Specifically being around the area where it happened and how it happened, there might have been something that wasn't processed as she died in a past life.
Or something she was holding on to.
And then when we resolve it in the next one, the clearing happens through it.
Wow.
Also, what this technique is teaching very deeply is that every single imbalance in our body, every single sickness and illness, every single pain is based in energetic and emotional way. So for example, cancer, the root cause of cancer is anger and resentment in your life or in someone's life. And whatever is manifesting in the body, it's basically that area that is connected to. For example, when people have a pains in the joints, it's holding on to something you're meant to let go, and your body is communicating it. If you have something happening with your skin, It's about how you protecting yourself from something that you don't want to be part of, or how you are not allowing yourself to be seen, so you have protection in there. Like every single physical symptom, every single imbalance, every single sickness is actually something so much deeper that we can find out the root cause of. Yeah. And once you find the root cause, we can invite healing into the body to relieve the symptoms. But same with the psychedelics. If this was my experience and I got better for a little bit, and then I go to my everyday life and I'm angry at my job all the time and I still don't want to be there and I don't do anything about it, guess what's going to happen?
It's going to come back.
Right away.
Yeah.
That's the power of our actions and our mind, and that friction between like, okay, what do we want and how we acting, or unconsciously how we constantly go through life.
Yeah, and I think there's still, I even have a little resistance. Like, yeah, is that true? Like, can all physical pain and dysfunction and disease be really emotional and energetic? And I don't know what my opinion is yet, but there are people like Wim Hof who have done some things that defy science and defy the logic that we have around these topics, where you're like, oh, maybe there are a lot of things we don't understand about.
Yeah, and how is power of belief in general? Like, let's just look at the power of belief. Isn't it fascinating that whatever we truly unshakably believe supports our reality? And once again, we spoke about an algorithm. If you believe in something, you're going to see more of that all around you.
Yeah.
If there are undercurrents, it can be true. Or like, to have a physical experience obviously completely shifts, and it's this pinnacle of transformation for us because you're like, wow, I lived through it.
Yeah.
But it's a constant part of this journey of forgetting.
Yes.
It's a part of exploration of life, right? There are these glimpses and these moments of like, wow, this is possible and this is how it can be done. And then we go back to our own reality. Oh, it can be true because I don't see it enough, or so on. It's how do we play with different concepts? Yeah. How curious are we to explore them? And how do we embrace them if they are for our highest good, obviously?
Yes.
Like why wouldn't be, that's me personally, why I wouldn't be curious into finding out something more if I know that it might help me or uncover something that is to the benefit of me, and then I can be a better person for others.
Absolutely. Speaking of the algorithm, I think that's one of the most beautiful parts about social media. Over the past 10 years, we've had access to see what is possible. And a lot of it's fake, right? Not everything's real on there that you see, but you see people living a certain life or what they've created, and you're like, oh, wow, if they can do that, I can do that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of gotten rid of a lot of limiting beliefs in terms of what is really possible.
Like United States, when you look at it, there's a big difference between how people operate in Europe and in the United States, and we spoke about it.
Yeah.
Like United States has such an entrepreneurial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look over the last couple, like people were in such a young age able to build up such amazing companies and so much abundance and so much impact that, like, if I lived in Europe, I was like, wow, how is this even possible, right? And you're then in the midst of it, like in a city in Miami, and there is, like, anything becomes possible. Where you want to go with it?
I just saw yesterday, I got to see what the company was. I forgot the name, but this guy founded it, I think 3 years ago, maybe. It's a med tech company. He has 0 employees. It's him, and then I think he brought his brother on as a co-founder. The entire company is run by AI. I think they just did 700 million in revenue this year.
I mean, full of your calling kind of energy. Wow.
It just goes to show you what has changed with 0 employees.
Freaking anything is possible.
Just with leveraging AI. Of course, I'm sure he's a smart guy, and you have to be, right, to create the systems and use AI in that way to create a business like that. But it was like, what?
And even that is possible.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
going back to I have 2 things. We are limitless.
Bring it.
For my own sake, I'm excited to do a session with you. And I was in this deep trance. I had a little bit of THC in my system, and I went into a really deep meditation, almost like 2 hours. And I was doing some intense breath holds. And it got to the point where I was really pushing myself and edging, where I was like, oh, wow, this is getting close to that line of like, I really need oxygen, right? This is that feeling of, if I didn't get oxygen in a few seconds, something bad might happen. And it was this remembering of, oh, I've experienced this before. I deeply remember this feeling of not being able to get oxygen in and being very scared and realizing at some point that I had to let go and I wasn't going to be able to get oxygen anymore and I was going to leave. And it was just like this, I get the chills even talking about it right now, because it was like a cellular remembering of this has happened to you before.
Past life.
Hi. And I was like, wow, did I drown or what happened?
Okay, let's explore.
We'll have to.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I want to bring that up, little sidebar, and then going back to Ryan's, did he have any remembering of past lives?
Fun fact. Okay, I shouldn't share other people's sessions because it's obviously very personal, but he's my subject to share. I think he explored 3, if I'm not mistaken. One of them, he was just like it was somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And he was wandering healer. He had this long stick he would always walk through, and he was walking through the villages and helping people with different herbs and a different energy work, obviously. Like, of course.
I could totally see that.
And it was really, really beautiful how he was describing the roofs of the place, because you get to like fully describe the place, where you at, what are you wearing, who is around you, and then what is your like daily work looking and so we dive deeper and deeper into details. And then after you go through past life into subconscious, you actually find out why Chu did it past life. You have almost like a bigger picture instead of like, oh, I'm just here. I actually understand it higher.
Yeah.
So he was this like wandering adventure healer, which he
so
is right now, who was helping people in the villages, but he was going from village to village. Like, he didn't have one space. He was always traveling. Guess what? His whole life, from his 20s until his 40s, he was working for ships, and he was traveling on the ships in this lifetime.
Whoa.
And literally sometimes he was 1 week on one ship and then going towards the next one to be part of it. So it just like, it transmutes into certain blueprints. And then in the next past life, he was an ocean spirit. So you don't have to be just human. It can take you in many ways to different planets, different places, different forms of life.
Wow.
He was an ocean spirit, and he had the form of the water. It was before Earth was hit by a meteor. So it was like back in time when the Earth was just forming, and there was all these ocean beings. And he had this little ocean spirit next to him, and he was literally just he almost looked like a Poseidon, with like the trident that he was holding, and he was learning and teaching this little ocean being next to him of like how to honor the oceans and protect the oceans. I mean, part of it, he was actually died when the meteor hit and the oceans and the whole atmosphere completely changed. So it was fascinating. Yeah.
Wow.
His connection to ocean is unbelievable. Like, you see his eyes lit up when he's in the water. And he spent on the ships, cruise ships, 20 years. You're not on the earth. You're literally always on the water.
On the water.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the reason why he felt so called to explore that life.
Yeah, and he loves explorer, being connected to water, being close to the ocean and the water. Yeah.
Fascinating.
And then we were asking about like his direction in life.
Yeah.
Like the next moves, what he wants to do. We were healing his jaw, and his jaw, like he had this like tightness in his jaw for a very long time. So that was released, and it was explaining, subconscious was explaining that it's a misalignment between his thoughts and his actions, what he really wants to do and what he's actually doing, and how he wants to direct his energy. So he needs to constantly come back to it, because your body always gonna tell you if you're in a misalignment, if you're doing something you're not meant to do, if you are staying in a place you're not meant to do, if you're with a person you're not meant to do. There are always signs if we choose to listen and if you're in a tune with ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Are you intrigued now?
Yeah, very intrigued. I can talk about this stuff forever. Let's talk a little bit about sound healing.
Sound healing. What do you know about? What do you think sound healing is?
It's funny. I didn't know too much about it until I got into the yoga world. And I remember the first time I did it, I was like, this feels good. I like this. But then I've had some experiences since then where I've had this knowing of like, oh, this is actually healing. This is what they talk about when they say like frequency heals. This is what that is. Other than that, I don't know too much about it.
So how did it feel? Or what did you feel, or how was your experience being in moment of receiving.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
My nervous system felt very calm, and it felt like I was releasing tension.
Very good. How do you feel after?
Relaxed, more calm,
Very good.
more present.
Yeah. What a gift it is in a modern society to be more calm, more present.
Yes.
So, have you ever just like lay down and close your eyes and listen to the sound of the rain?
Yes.
You can
but-
be at home and have open window. You don't have to be like in the rain, but just like, let's say you're at home and the window is open and you can hear the rain.
Yes, it's magical.
Have you ever like sat by the ocean and just like listened to ocean waves without talking?
Yes, magical.
This is nature's sound healing.
Being on a hike on a mountain.
Listening to birds,
Oh,
hearing the wind just like swooshing. There is something that simplicity of the sound that is in harmonic state does to our body and does to our being. Our body is expression of energy. When we look at a quantum, it's all moving particles that have a space in between in a certain frequencies, right? There's a harmony and inharmony. What I spoke with QHHT, when we are not in harmony, disharmony, there are certain physical aspects that manifest that I have a pain in my joints, I have a tightness in my neck from the stress, all of this, right? Or all around the body can be happening. It is very much based in how stressful lives we are living and how much information we are exposed to that causes this stress to tighten us, that causes our inability to be present, that causes overthinking of the mind. Overthinking of the mind, oh my God. We have a different layers of our being. And I'm gonna head exactly to answer your question, but I wanna bring all these different points to bring a greater understanding. There is this concept of koshas in India. And the koshas, imagine the Russian doll, and a Russian doll has the different layers until it gets to the core, that tiny little one in the center, which is gonna be the biggest one. The outer layer, physical body. You go a little deeper, there is what they call energetic body. You go a little deeper, there is a mind body and a power of the thoughts. You go a little deeper, there is an intuitive body. And you go to the core, and there is a bliss body essence of your being. In our everyday life, we are or on autopilot and we are not aware of anything, or we are able to be actually sometimes aware of how we feel, our moods. We are actually able to be aware of our thoughts. And what sound does so beautifully, and why I love it so much, and the simplicity of the sound, and I specifically love working with crystal sound bowls and these ethereal, beautiful light chimes, is that the simplicity and the harmony and the pure tones of the sound and the overtones are able to take you from that physical into that energetic, into that mind. They start slowing down the busyness of the mind, which in technical, we go from busy beta brainwaves to alpha, and then in between state to theta, which is also hypnosis. And now once we are in that state where we shut off our eyes, when we slow down the brainwaves, and we have this simplicity of the tones playing and beautifully harmonizing together, we're able to start accessing the intuitive layer. And the intuitive layer is your inner wisdom. Intuitive layer is maybe you're in a meditation and the sound is playing, and you're now able to, connecting dots. This is why it was happening. Maybe I shouldn't do this anymore in my life. Or, this is an interesting idea I should explore. And it's always there, but we are not able to access it when it's like a seaweed on the top of the
It's
ocean.
almost just removing the layers to get to what is naturally there.
You're accessing your own inner wisdom.
Yeah, but it's hard to access our own inner wisdom when there is so much noise, when there is so much distraction.
100%. And what lies even beyond it is the bliss body. And we are able to feel the energy in the sound sessions. We are able to sometimes people shake, right? And so on. So it's just like, it's all this dumping of stress and debris and overthinking and imbalances that need to go. So we have to come back to the center. However, what I want to bring to this as well is that the tones or notes that we play in the sound in a specific harmonic connections and specific intervals are actually expression of the nature. So there is a sacred geometry of the nature and of the cosmos that mathematicians have been studying for a very long time. And as certain intervals played together, for example, perfect fifth, if I play C and G together, that perfect harmony of those two tones, your body recognizes as a perfect harmony within your body. And it starts organizing in the harmonic state again. So there are the certain tones playing together that sound beautifully and smooth, and they can be found all around the nature in these ratios that our body recognizes to come back into the balance and harmony.
It's so funny, as you were sharing about this, I remembered what I've said to myself when I've had a really good sound bath. It feels like a brain massage.
Yes.
Like it feels like my brain was massaged. You know when you get like a deep tissue massage?
100%.
I train a lot and I'm always active and I hold tension in my body and I go really hard, and then I'll get a deep tissue massage and it just feels like whoosh, like everything just released.
Yes.
I'm not as tense, I'm not as wound up. The fascia is actually lighter. Feels
100%.
similar with the brain when you
and
you
also
have a
when you
sound
say
bath.
I'm not that tense and I'm not that tight, it's the same thing in our mind. I'm not that fearful anymore. I'm not that tight about what needs to be and how I'm in control. You soften it. So besides just physical, even your mind is getting into the state of, you know what? I can let go a little more.
Yeah.
And you know what? I trust life a little more. And you know what? It's gonna work out. Because when we are in a fight or flight and we are just like so deeply focused on one thing and this need to work out and so on, we have such a narrow vision.
Yes.
But when we are able to open this vision and soften, like the solutions are everywhere and they want to find us. It's just, they can get through. So it's the same thing like accessing these deeper layers of the being, and it's just so magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like the Rick Rubin approach, where he'd be working with musicians and they'd be stuck on something to try and create a song. He'd be like, just go pick out any book and turn to a page and
it.
find the inspiration there. He's like, inspiration's everywhere.
That's
Creativity is everywhere.
100%.
I think you'll like this quote. I had some quotes here. Everything in life is a vibration, by another mathematician, Albert Einstein.
So it is.
Yeah.
So it is. And we are expression of it, and our reality is expression of it. You know how people say good vibes?
Good vibes, yeah.
Literally, like our environment is the expression of our state of being
Yes.
and the people who surround us. And every, you know, like we spoke about, is like your very first episode and right now. Remember the version of Drew from there and right now. You can literally see like how many interesting people found you over the time, and how many interesting connections just like showed up out of nowhere. And it's that beautiful constant expression of the energy. And through this, even when something is happening in our lives, and I believe like you can mess with energy, even when something is happening in our lives that is unfair, or someone hurt us, or something happened that we're just hold grudge towards. Just to give you an example, I had a one session with a one woman. I was actually pregnant executing this session.
Wow.
And it was a beautiful session, and it was a group, and she paid deposit, and she just literally disappeared on me. She never finalized the payment. And I was sitting with it. Part of me was like really pissed off. I was like, this is like so not fair. Like how much effort and everything. And she knew about a price, final price prior. And I sit and I'm like, you know what? The universal check and balance always works out.
Yes.
And I'm gonna receive from unexpected source. And same thing gonna happen to her. And it's not like I want something bad for her. It's just we gotta be very, very mindful of law of cause and effect, and cause and effect. And everything we do creates certain impact around us. And even if something happens to us that feels like it's not fair, why is it happening? Things gonna balance out and move out. And we just gotta continue go with the life, because we are always taken care of with pure intentions that we have and coming forward.
Not why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me? All those adages, they have so much truth and wisdom.
But
the ones that are like on the Hallmark cards.
I know that. It's the greatest gift. But you know, it's funny. It's just what you said. But you had your like the oneness experience with a God.
Yeah.
We can literally see it written anywhere. We can literally see it written in a Holy Bible, but it's just a word unless you actually feel it and understand it. Yeah. Same thing in the sessions, you know, like when I host the sound, or when anyone hosts the sound, there can be facilitator who are going to be in front of you and say, be present and be here and feel. But if that facilitator is not present and then being there, it's just freaking empty words that become a buzzwords that we need to, what does it mean? Align and connect. And now everyone come over to align and connect. We scroll through, we don't pay attention because it's another align and connect. What am I doing? Aligning. What am I connecting?
Yeah.
Like we literally got to make our own effort and time to walk our talk.
Yes.
And to be embodiment of it, and then people going to feel, and the right people always going to find you.
Yes.
That's it.
That's why I feel like people, especially with the podcasting and these conversations, people feel the energy behind it, right?
Yeah.
You can feel if it's actually a good, impactful conversation. You could even feel the energy between the guests.
That's it. Chatting with you.
Always. We'll have to do a round
you're
two.
you're like taking it out of me over here. It's just so fun to have a good person to talk to.
That's my job, you know. I wanted to bring this one up. I saw this. It's called the Guest House by Rumi.
Okay.
This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new guest arrives. Joy, depression, meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. We may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
I have an amazing story to share about this.
Share.
Like the real life story. So we spoke about like self-love, seeing my value, worthiness, unworthiness. When I just started dating Ryan, we weren't living together just yet, but we were like staying at each other's houses.
Yep.
So I was staying at his house this
Doing
evening.
a bunch of sleepovers.
Yeah, a bunch of sleepovers, picking your bag and going over. So I was staying at his house, and something annoyed me, not about him, but something happened that I wasn't in my happiest self.
Yeah. Normal.
Happens. And I had this inner voice inside of me starting telling me, you gotta be happy and you gotta be nice and kind, otherwise he's not gonna like you and you shouldn't be here. And I'm like, interesting. But I'm freaking pissed off about something and I just don't wanna like cover it and be happy and nice, because if you're not happy and nice, what if he doesn't like you, right? So I sit with it and he's like, okay, I'm just giving you space, because his approach wouldn't be like, baby, what's happening? He would be like, okay, you in a mood? You be in a mood, I'm going out here because I'm not being pulled into these vortexes, which is his protection mechanism.
Yeah.
So I just sit in it and I'm like deeply in it. And this voice started telling me, if you're so good with sounds and breath and yoga and all these practices, why don't you change your state of being right now and right away? It literally started questioning my value and all the beliefs. It's like a little, I call it the devil voice, you know, that going in there. And I'm like, interesting, well, I could do that to be happy and again, and because I like being happy, so I don't want to be in this like pissed off state. And I was like, no, it was trying to distract me from going deep into it. And a deep into it where I was like, no, I'm going to sit in it, I'm going to start writing and I started exploring with it. The deep in it was, can I see my worth and value, and can I love myself even if he's not going to like me? Considered I'm being in this unhappy state, and considering he might say like, you know what, I don't want to date you anymore. There is possibility, right?
Yes.
Am I okay to be with it, and am I okay to fully love myself and see my own worth and value through it all? You know, and I sat with it and we did an explanation, and this allowed me to not worry about if someone likes me, if I'm going through something, but honor what is in there, dig deeper, not get distracted by being happy again, dig deeper, and once again applying. And you know what, through it all, I love myself.
Yes.
And I hug myself going through this stage, and I see my value, and if someone is not fully in it or with it, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. So there's like these emotions and things that come up, it's always like an arrows to point us towards something and to explore.
Yes. That's beautiful. And
What's
you had
yours?
the protection mechanism to be like, maybe I should be happy to make sure that this person likes me or this is okay with them.
That's it.
But that wasn't who you are. And listen, it's not realistic that we're always going to be happy and in a joyful, blissful state. We're humans. We have emotions. We have experiences. And that's part of being human.
And it's interesting in those like beginning stages of dating someone. You want to be in this like perfect light. And I'm always... You always can like me, you know?
Yeah, because you're scared of losing that person.
And then you're like, but what is down there, under, you know? Like just to see the fullness of being.
It's scary to fully be seen.
But it's so important. And I was again telling myself, this is my second relationship that is really big because I was married for 10 years before.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to like explore again a new layers of me. And you know, when I left my marriage of 10 years because we were just friends, but there wasn't the deeper connection anymore for a long time, and I literally contemplated on this decision for 1 year until I made a decision.
Yeah.
So many people would tell me, oh, but he's a nice person, like he didn't do anything wrong, why don't you give it a chance, or so on. And it's a big risk to go like, okay, like I have this person which is nice and fine and okay, and I'm still gonna let it go because there might be something different waiting for me that my soul is craving.
And this happens all the time with people. It's comfortable, it's safe, it's familiar, it's stable.
And I was like, I'm going for it. And
because your soul was calling for it.
And that was a big leap of faith for me. Like the big leap of faith was leaving my whole family and moving to States. Big leap of faith was like, I'm leaving everything behind. I left my furniture behind, a lot of my clothes. I literally just took skincare and a couple pieces of clothes and went to empty apartment. But I remember when I started dating Ryan a couple of weeks later out of nowhere, which was such a synchronicity. I wasn't going into that relationship like, oh, this is beautiful, I need it.
Yeah.
I was literally, that was the part of self-love for me. I was in that relationship of like, I am gonna become my own greatest lover and my own best friend, and I'm gonna see my value, and I'm never gonna put on that another person that you gotta make me happy. Not that I did it before, because we were literally like living separate lives with my ex, which was big like gap. But in this one, we were like so beautifully grounded in who we are, and we were there for each other and dancing together and embracing each other and sharing everything with so much like love and respect with Ryan. And at the same time, I was like, you know what? If you're not meant to be together, we will not, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you can mess with energy, and someone else who is meant to be here. And you know, that little thought when you start dating someone and you don't hear like text messages and this little character, another one come, what if they are with someone else?
Yeah.
And what do you think they still like me?
Yeah.
And what if they don't want to spend, what if they are dating multiple people or something?
Yep.
And I'm totally fine with it. It's not gonna, because I had, you know, when I was 17, I was like seeing this guy and he was dating another girlfriend. So he had this like physical,
a past traumatic experience.
Physical trauma. Like, what if I really like him? What if? And then I was so able to like do my practices in a way. And if he's dating someone else, that means that this is not the complete, you know, fit, and it's fine. And I'm okay to, like, I'm not here to fight over another girlfriend. I'm like, you know what, then go.
You want someone who fully chooses you. And I think it comes back to, this is the most powerful mindset. It's so simple. If it's meant for me, it will be.
It will be.
And if you truly believe that and embody that frequency, then it gets rid of all the fear of what if they leave, what if they choose someone else, then it wasn't meant to be.
100%.
But if it is meant to be, they will choose you. And yes, it's a choice every day, and there's distraction in this, but that is part of choosing someone in a
Do you feel it in your relationship?
Yeah, for sure.
30-year-old, beautiful, serious relationship. It's amazing how we get to like discover it on different levels older and older you get.
Yeah.
So amazing. Maybe love ourselves and choose ourselves and find a people who go on this beautiful dance together with us.
That's it. We'll find them.
Because that's the richness of life as well, right? Like to have a partner who is able, because we can go on a spiritual journey of self-discovery and enjoyment of life on our own.
Yes.
But what is the first thing you want to do when you hear an amazing song?
You want to share it with someone.
What is the first thing you want to do when you travel and you see a beautiful scenery?
You want to share it with someone.
So we are meant to have that partner on our journey.
Yes.
But right now that comes this beautiful dynamic that partner is able to show you parts of you are never able to access yourself.
Oh yeah. Good and bad.
Good and bad. Good and bad.
It's not just the good.
And that's ultimate, like the partnership, or when people choose to go with marriage, is the ultimate spiritual journey. What are you gonna see? And you know, I always say the swing of the pendulum.
Relationships are our best teachers.
That's it. It's perfectly designed. Even if people don't want to contemplate on the presence of the God and the higher power in their life and the source, just have children and have partner, and you're actually going to do it anyway without giving it these big words,
They're
right?
Be forced to.
That's it. It's perfectly designed.
Yes.
It's perfectly designed.
It is.
And we just got to dance with life and go through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I always end the podcast with one question to the guest. If you were to tell yourself, your younger self, one thing in this moment, what would it be?
I want to say two things coming up my mind. Can I add on? First one, it's gonna be wilder than your wildest dreams. Or it's gonna get wilder than your wildest dreams. Because what I live right now in my life,
Yes.
my partnership, my business, what I do, the connection with people, community, family, travel, like I'm already living my wildest dream. Like how we can get any better, and every day it just gets better and better, and I'm like, thank you.
And to maybe someone who's not living their wildest dream right now, could you have pictured this 10 years ago? Would it have been hard for you to imagine this?
I don't think, I didn't even comprehend this is possible.
Wow.
So I couldn't even picture this. I couldn't manifest this because I didn't know this is possible.
So if you're not living your dream life right now, Andrea is proof.
Oh my God. So it's going to get wild. Like literally, even if you cannot picture anything right now, what can happen with this podcast, I'm just telling you, it's going to get wilder in your wildest dream.
Oh yeah, I know it.
And a second one in my own, like my soul journey, I know it's seeing my value. And one like quote that I've been telling to myself from beginning of this year is choose yourself. Would you want to do this podcast with yourself out of any other person? Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Would you want to spend time with yourself doing what you're doing if you could choose someone out of all the people out there? Hell yeah, because your energy is so beautiful and unique, and people who resonate. So choose yourself. I always tell myself, every time I question and have this, these little character voices, I choose myself. I choose myself for what I do, and I choose myself for this spot, and I choose myself to do this session with me, and yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's choose ourselves.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for
Oh,
coming
this was
on.
fun.
I love you. I'm so grateful for you. You're such an incredible human, and I'm blessed to have you in my life.
Thank you, my friend. Too many more adventures together, and let's hypnotize you.
Yes. Okay, let's go. That and then some DMT.
Why don't you know? We have a wide range of offerings in our households to whatever we get to experience.
QHHT, 5-MeO DMT.
A little bit of sun in between, some good tea, heartfelt talk and so on. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah.
So good.